Hello, everybody. Welcome to Run and Code Humor in South Texas Law Enforcement. I'm your host, T-Bone. With me and got my back as always, J-Man, my partner. J-Man, how you doing?
Doing good.
Looking fit. I like it. Getting swole.
I'm gonna get more lean swole.
I like lean swole. Then I don't have to worry about you as much.
Chicken breast white meat.
Probably the first time you ever called yourself that. Great. Now I'll get canceled for that.
Hey, we're talking about food, folks.
Yeah, food. Come on,
Like
everybody,
food.
relax. Look, life and anal. If you relax, it hurts less. I don't know if this is a personal experience. I'm just saying.
Eating a lot of chicken breast. I'm just all I'm saying.
right.
A lot of chicken breast.
That protein. Hell yeah.
Protein.
Bro. Push ups, sit ups, squats. Hell yeah. Get it done.
Penitentiary swole.
That's right. So, J-Man and I are back in a groove finally, getting these things done. He's in the middle of some things. I transferred to a different division in as a detective, so I'm getting called out in the middle of the damn night. So we just had a lot going on. It's hard for us to connect now, different schedules, and it sucks, but we make it do. Like we said before, J-Man and I do this for fun. We're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
It's just fun. We feel like we have things to say. If it helps one person, hey, we did it.
Yep.
We are now in how many countries now?
It's probably a good amount.
You know what? I'm gonna look it up. While you talk to our awesome audience, I'm gonna look it up because I want to know just how many countries and cities we're in.
Yeah, so while T-Bone is looking that up, we're going to talk about patrol officers and responding to domestic violence. It's going to be a good thing to talk about. One that is like, no matter what agency you work for, no matter what type of patrol officer you work for, you're probably going to come across it. School resource officers could have a DV at a school.
Yeah, boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah. Or
if they're in any kind of romantic relationship or a family relationship, yeah.
A deputy constable could be going to serve some civil document to a resident, to like one of the occupants at the home, knocks on the door, and while they're knocking, they hear the disturbance inside. Guess what? They still got to deal with it.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, sorry, I only do civil. Nah, you got a gun in the badge.
Yeah, they're not calling whatever jurisdiction they're in to come handle domestic, because the first thing they're going to say is, well, you're there first. Deal with it until we at least get on scene. What are you doing?
Can't just walk away.
Yeah.
So, real quick before we get into that, we're in 37 countries.
Nice.
And 552 cities.
Oh, nice. That's
I would like to make that 40 countries, and I'd like to make it 1,000 cities, but one thing at a time. But we are getting some good traction. Our numbers kind of fell. We were number 12, I think, in law enforcement podcasts, and we're down to like 21.
That makes sense because
that makes sense. We had some gaps,
busyness,
and and I was getting questions about where we were at. And again, like I said, we're not like my favorite podcast, Anti-Hero Podcast.
Yeah,
I love those guys. I would love to go and do a show with Tyler and Brent. I'd love to. That'd be great in Florida. I'd have a great time. He's Delta. He's a street cop. They're great.
Yeah.
I like what they do, but they're actually getting paid to do that because they got sponsors and they have time to devote to it. And
yep. Yeah.
But like Tyler Hoover said, when you want to start a podcast, you just got to start talking. There comes a point where you just got to start talking.
Yeah.
And so they started talking. And if you listen to their first episode versus where they are now, you can see a dramatic change. Well, same as us. You look at our first two or three, especially our first two or three. Oh, that was horrible.
There's like kitchen sounds.
Kitchen sounds. I'm eating. I didn't know any. I didn't know the air conditioner, the HVAC. I didn't know about wall treating and audio. I didn't know anything about that. But you just got to start talking.
Yeah.
And that's still one of our highest rated episodes. Was that very first one? Don't ask me why. Maybe it's just because they started at the beginning, and after the first one, like, oh, fuck these people. They didn't bother trying. You just have to get on and start talking. And we felt like we had something to say. So here we are at 50. This will be episode 52, I believe.
Yep.
It should be probably 70, but hey, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed my time. This may not last forever. Let's enjoy it while we have it.
Yep.
And if it has to end, hey, we'll miss our fans. I'm sure you'll miss us, but there's other podcasts out there.
We'll make sure it's a special ending.
We'll do a special episode ending, yeah, if we're able to do that.
You're so right.
Yep, because you know what I'm talking about, but we're not going to tell the audience.
Oh man,
I'm sure we'll break 552 people's hearts.
Yeah.
But today, though, like J-Man was saying, we're going to talk about domestic violence. Now, not a whole lot of funny in that you have your comedic moments, But by and large, the subject itself is not funny.
Right.
But here on this one, we want to do more for the educational value.
Yep.
For patrol cops especially, but even civilians in general.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of misconceptions about what we have to do and what we can do and what we should do and
what we actually consider domestic violence.
And what we consider actual domestic violence. So you get calls, for example, my husband verbally assaulted me. Okay, there's no such thing as verbal assault.
Right.
An assault is defined as unwanted physical contact that results in pain or injury.
Yep.
That's an assault. You're a bitch is not an assault. We'd show up, like, all right, what's going on? Well, he called me a bitch. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean we go, well, then fuck you, lady. We don't do that.
Right.
Okay, because there's a deeper issue here somewhere. And might be a possibility of violence occurring after we leave, especially now that we're there.
Yeah.
And then he's pissed off that we got called. There may be violence after we leave. So our job is still to play the peacemaker and be like, hey, separate them. Hey, brother, you go talk to him. I'll talk to her, figure out what the hell's going on here. And maybe one of them can leave for the night. We can't arrest anybody because there's no offense. They could both tell us, get the fuck out of the house. There ain't shit we can do about it because there's no offense.
Right.
But if maybe we can convince him or her, hey, maybe go to your mom's for the night. Just kind of let things, distance creates perception. Or what's the saying? Distance changes perception.
Yeah.
Okay, come back tomorrow. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that or whatever. So we're not just going to walk in the door and go, what the fuck? You waste our time for this shit. There's no such thing as verbal assault. Da, 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 da. You can do that. Yeah, you can. And you're not wrong. But there may be a deeper problem there. Maybe you should spend more than 10 seconds evaluating the situation.
Right.
I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of having done that once or twice myself. Yes, I was. Friday nights where it's just call after call after call after call. And you're like, holy shit. Like, I got 20 calls pending in my square. Not even counting the square north and south of me. Like, you're bothering me with this bullshit? Yeah, and that was the wrong tack.
Right.
I should not have done that, obviously. Looking back on it now, there's many calls I would have done differently knowing what I know now. Especially as an investigator. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I would have handled that different. What did I miss? Oh, shit, I missed this. It happens.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when a husband, a wife, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a roommate calls and says, I was assaulted, I was slapped, punched, kicked, hair pulled, choked, whatever it is. And I don't even talk about sexual. That's a whole different ball of wax. And yes, it is illegal to force sex on your spouse.
Yeah.
Your spouse has the right to say no. Just because you're married does not mean now that he or she cannot say no. They can absolutely say no. And yes, we've charged husbands and wives with sexual assault.
Yep.
No still means no, even if you're married. So these guys that think, oh, we're married now, well, she still has the right to say no. And yes, we can still charge you with sexual assault. So if she says no, it sucks. Go do a handy and call it a day.
Call it a day.
It is what it is. Maybe tomorrow, okay? Don't try to jam an aspirin down her throat and say deal with it. Just call it another day, all right? Yep. But that's a different ball of wax. Maybe one day we'll cover sexual assaults.
Yeah.
Not my favorite subject, but good information there and what you should do and how you should handle it because there's a lot of misconception there too as well.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful on that subject because you're going to hurt someone's feelings inevitably on that subject.
And it could be a triggering episode.
And it could.
Too, so.
And well, we had that one lady who told us her story. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she left us that long, and my heart went out to her.
Yeah.
And that's the people we want to help. True victims. You have to take everything said with a grain of salt. When it comes, especially when it comes to family violence, but any call, you should take everything with a grain of salt. You don't believe one over the other.
Right.
You listen with an open mind. That's the hardest thing for us because you always want to say the man did it.
Yeah.
Men can be victims too.
They can be.
Men can be and are a lot. They just don't report it. Because what guy wants to tell a cop, another guy, yeah, she hit me. No guy wants to do that because in their mind, he thinks I'm a bitch. But nobody should have to worry. Nobody should have to deal with that, man or woman, period.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to worry that you're going to get slapped or kicked or punched, have your hair pulled or choked. You shouldn't have to worry about that. But men, by and large, typically don't report it.
Yeah.
Now, so don't automatically go into a situation when she goes, he hit me. Ask some questions. She might have been knocking the shit out of him for an hour and he finally got pissed off and backhanded her.
Yeah.
He's done nothing wrong. And there's no violation of the law there. But this is what people don't understand about domestic violence. It's who's the primary aggressor. Yep. Who started it? Now, let me specify that. Let's say you and I are in a partnership.
There you go.
We're domestic partners.
There you go.
You smack the shit out of me and I haul off and smack you back. Did I break the law?
No, it's defense.
No, I didn't.
Self-defense.
Let's change the scenario. Yesterday, you smacked the shit out of me. Today, I'll walk up and bitch smack you across the face. Did I break the law?
Yes.
Yes, I did. It was not an immediate threat.
Yeah.
There was no immediacy to get you away from me, to stop it. That was retaliation.
Mhm.
Now, should you be charged for yesterday for hitting me?
Yeah.
Yes, you should be. And should I be charged today for hitting you? Yes, because they're not the same incident, not the same criminal episode, so to speak.
Yeah.
So there's some misconceptions there. Now, what you see a lot, I've seen it, you've seen it, is that victims will wait 2 weeks before they call us. By then, no injuries. It's faded. It doesn't mean it didn't happen,
Right.
but we don't have the evidence. So it's really hard to convince a jury that he hit you when you waited 2 weeks. Now, I'm not victim shaming at all. It's not what I'm doing. If you are a true victim, please call us.
Yeah.
But please call us as soon as you safely can. Don't stand there in front of this guy who's pissed off and drunk, who's already hit you once. I'm calling the cops. Please don't do that. You may end up dead. And that has happened. Okay, especially if he has warrants, just go to the bathroom, call us. You can even text 911 now.
Yeah, you can.
911 and text them.
Yeah.
You can call and order a pizza. You call 911 and say, I'd like to order a pizza. The dispatcher is going to say, the first thing the dispatcher is going to say is, are you aware you're calling 911? Yes, I'd like a pizza. They will understand immediately what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to, okay, what address would you like that? Oh, I want this, and I want pepperoni and onions. And they'll say, answer with yes or no's. Is he still there? Yes. Is he armed? Yes. That way we know what the hell is going on. And they'll tell us, no lights, no sirens.
Yeah.
Come very quietly. And the dispatcher will say, yeah, open the door when it knocks. And then we're going to come in the house. And we're immediately going to detain him. Or her. He could be doing it too. I mean, I'm being general because it is usually men.
Statistically, women are victims and the men are the
aggressors.
Yeah.
But that's not 100%. So take everything with a grain of salt. But if a woman's calling saying my husband's beating the shit out of me and I'm hiding in the bathroom, yeah, we're going to detain him first.
Yeah.
Cuffs come off as easy as they go on. I have turned around and arrested the wife and let the husband out of handcuffs. It's happened.
Yeah.
It's called investigating. Just because you're not a detective by rank does not mean you're not supposed to investigate. You, as a patrolman, are the first on scene. You tell me what you got when you call me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm counting on you to ask questions. Who, what, when, where, why, how often, when did it last happen? How did you do it? What did you feel when it happened? You have to be descriptive when you say pain. Don't just say, did it cause pain? Yeah, it caused pain. Victim stated it caused pain.
Yeah.
How did it cause pain?
Mm-hmm.
He pulled my hair and it hurt like hell. I could feel my scalp. Felt like my scalp was tearing. That's a great statement. Victim stated, subject was pulling her hair and it felt like her scalp was tearing. That's very descriptive because we all know what that feels like. When your hair is getting pulled, it feels like your scalp is tearing. That's the difference between a prosecution and a dismissal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So be descriptive. Officers watching this, be descriptive. How did it hurt you? What did you feel? I know it sounds like a dumb question. You have to ask the question. You got to ask it on camera. You got to.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in, they got a major black eye and their nose is bloody. I know it sounds like a dumb question, but you have to ask, did that hurt? You have to ask that question. Pain or injury. But you have to ask, did it hurt?
Yeah.
You're not going to get far if you don't ask that. Did that hurt? And they look at you like you're stupid. And you just, look, I got to ask the question because it fulfills the definition of an assault. Okay, it hurt. How did it hurt? Like he hit me in the eye and I saw stars and I got woozy and okay, hell yeah, write that down. That is describing the injury. That is describing the pain.
Right.
That is a prosecution. Now, let me be real clear about this. There's only 3 types of crimes where we file the charges on behalf of the victim. The rest of them, you have the right to be a victim. You can say, I don't want to press charges. We have to drop it. Domestic violence, we press charges on behalf of the victim. We do it. Whether you want to or not, we're going to do it. Homicide, we assume the victim would like justice.
Yeah.
And child crimes.
Yeah.
We're going to speak it for the voice of that child.
Yeah.
Rest of the crimes, yeah, I'd never met him in my life and he beat the shit out of me with a hammer and walked off. Going to press charges? No. Okay, have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
You have the right to be a victim. But domestic violence, child crimes, and murder, no. We're going to take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. Thank you very much. Or the elderly. We'll do it for the elderly too.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you say, and here's what I always see happen, and this is my long experience, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating until you understand why. And then you kind of have to go, okay, I get it. I'll explain. Wife calls. Husband beat the shit out of me. Okay. You hook him. Yeah, you're under arrest for assault, family, bodily injury, or bodily injury, family or household, married, cohabitating, whatever it is. Because family is defined as a roommate relationship, sexual relationship, dating relationship, one night stand, family, married. It's any kind of relationship where
Exes.
Even exes. If you've put tab A into slot B, guess what? A year later, you smack her in the mouth, it's family violence. Mm-hmm. Sorry, you had a sexual relationship at one point. You're now family forever under the Family Code, Chapter 71.
Yep.
Sorry you don't like that, but that's what it is. So, but scenario, and it happens all the time. And every officer watching this is going to be like, hell yeah, it happens all the time. But I'm going to explain why for those that don't understand it and don't realize it because they're younger officers or they haven't been around it or they haven't had to investigate it. As an investigator now having to ask the follow-up questions. Wife calls, scenario. Wife calls. Husband beat the hell out of me. All right, we get there. She's beat to shit. He's got bruised knuckles. Hell yeah, motherfucker. You're going to jail. You're under arrest for assault, bodily injury, family, household, married, cohabitating, whichever one it is. Throw him in the car. Okay, ma'am. You want to press charges? No. Now, is he going to jail right then and there?
Yep.
Oh, he's going to fucking
Still
jail.
going to jail.
No matter what she says. His ass going to jail. Unless she goes, I made the entire thing up and I beat my own face on the counter and he was punching the wall. Then maybe I might have to cut him loose and do some follow-up. But yeah, if she says, well, yeah, he hit me and he caught me with a neighbor or I took $100 to pay for something or, whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't put your hands on somebody. It doesn't matter. But this is what happened. And he hit me and then I fell down. It caused pain. He pulled my hair. It was tearing. Yeah, oh yeah. You're going to jail, motherfucker. Do you want a emergency protective order? Do you wish a VINE? For those that don't know what VINE is Victim Instant Notification, where we have to notify you as the victim before they get released from the jail, and you have to acknowledge that before we release them.
Yeah.
At 24 hours, we're going to release them. We're just going to release them. But it gives you time to, I better be elsewhere when he gets home.
Yeah.
So we have those programs, and we will use them. Plus, we also have what's called MedCom. We'll call them, and they'll do the whole survey of weapons in the house. Is he threatened with it before? And they'll come up with the low risk, medium risk, high risk, whole matrix. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but based on, has this happened before? How many times has he been here before? Did he use a weapon? Does he have access to weapons? And people are going, well, who cares about access to weapons? Because a lot of domestic violence ends in death at the hands of a gun.
Yep.
It sucks, but we can't tell the future. But we can at least try to take the guns out of the house for the night.
Yep.
Like, we're going to collect those. We're not taking them forever.
Yep.
We're taking them out of the house for the night. Yep. Let everybody cool the fuck off. Put them in the proper room. Tomorrow you can go pick them up. Or a week from now you can go pick them up or whatever. We're just going to remove the guns. Doesn't mean you can't kill her with a hammer or a knife. But we're going to move the easiest thing that could be used. Just grab that gun, lose your temper, and just bang, bang, bang. Now we got a homicide.
Yeah.
Children have lost both parents. Dad's going to prison. Mom's going to the morgue. So we try to end the violence. So the trick in domestic violence is you're stopping the violence. That's what you're doing. She may decide 9 months from now not to testify in court and cooperate, and the DA's office may or may not drop the case. But that night, you stop the violence. That night, someone didn't die. Now, if she decides to go back to him a week later, there's nothing you can do about that. They have the right. I've seen women prosecute their husbands for domestic violence, and they stay married to him. Okay, you and I may think that's asinine, but we don't live their lives, and we don't understand, so we can't judge.
Right.
We're not in their lives. Do we look at them and go, you're stupid? Well, yeah, we do. Because we're going to be back here again. Like we did it once, he will do it again. That is statistical fact. He will do it again.
Yep.
Unless it was just one of those, he sobered up and he's never laid a hand on me since. I've met a few of those where they sobered up, found Jesus or whatever they did, but it stopped after that.
Yeah.
So can it stop? Yes. Does it usually? No. It gets worse and worse till eventually one kills the other. Either she kills him in battered wife syndrome or he kills her or vice versa. I'm using him and her, but statistically because it is, but that we're generalizing here.
Yeah.
Now, scenario 2. You get there. She has no marks at all. Not a scratch. My husband hit me a week ago. Okay. And you talk to him. He's like, calm. I didn't touch her. We're getting a divorce. She found out I have a new girlfriend. She got pissed off, said she's going to call the cops. Are you going to make that arrest?
I'm going to write a report.
I'm going to write a report.
Get all the information.
I'll be thorough. Write it the hell up.
Report.
Because I don't have enough evidence, and I'm not going to charge this guy when I have no evidence. None other than it happened a week ago. She got no marks. Like, you got to take that with a grain of salt. Okay? We have the most powerful authority there is. We can take your freedom. So we should be really, really sure before we go taking someone's freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But you walk in, her face is busted up, his knuckles are bruised. Oh yeah, he's going, like right now.
Yeah.
Our job is to prevent further violence.
Yep.
The law does not say we have to make an arrest in family violence. It says we have to stop the violence. So we don't always have to make an arrest on an outcry of domestic violence right then and there. We don't have to. But you better be able to justify it.
Yeah.
Hey, it was over a week ago. Neither one had marks. They're both calm. He's saying it didn't happen. She threatened this and this. Send it off to SVU and let them make the call. That's all you can do. Because you have no evidence.
Right.
None. Now, she's got fading different colored bruises all over her whole body. For those of us as cops, we don't look for that. That bruise is fresh, but that one's old. And that one's green. That one's yellow. Like, okay, these are fading bruises, newer than, like, this is happening daily.
It helps us establish.
You see women that in the summer wearing a turtleneck and long sleeves and heavy makeup. Like, ma'am, can you pull your sleeves up for me? I'm not going to ask her to pull her shirt up.
Yeah.
But, ma'am, can you pull your sleeves up for me? And you'll see bruises, all different colors of the rainbow. Yeah, that's happening a lot. So might there be some validity now? Yeah. There might be. But if it's fading, it's that cover your ass, call a sergeant. Yeah. I would call, hey, Sarge, this is what I got. Let him make that call. But he's probably going to ask you, do you think it's going to reoccur if you leave? He's probably going to turn around back on you. Like, can you make that one? You probably could make the arrest, but it may get rejected.
There could be a expedient issuance of a warrant, though.
Yeah, but you got to call an SVU detective and go, hey, this is what I got. Like, it didn't happen tonight. It didn't happen yesterday, but she's got multicolored bruises. She got a fading shiner. Like, what he may do is he may come out, interview both of them, and then make the decision and say, hold what you got, run back to the office, bang out a warrant. Judge goes, okay, and judge signs it. Now we're going to arrest him on the warrant.
Yeah.
It sucks to have to do that, but you still got to cover your ass because there's nothing worse than you leave
with nothing done.
With nothing, and he kills her, and you're back 2 hours later for a homicide and looking at you like, weren't you just here like 2 hours ago? Yeah. What was the complaint? She said he was beating her ass, but we didn't have proof.
And there's only like notes in the key card.
Oh yeah, and your career probably ended right there if you don't get sued by the family for not stopping it.
Yeah.
This job carries incredible liability. I'm really kind of surprised we don't have to carry personal liability insurance, honestly, because this job carries so much liability with it. It really does. You have one bad day, make one bad decision, and your agency can be sued for millions. You can lose your job, be barbecued all over the fucking news, have to move to Timbuktu where no one knows you.
Yeah.
Like Derek Chauvin. Whenever he gets out of prison, he probably not a good idea to live in Minneapolis. He might want to move to like North Dakota.
He might have to move to another country.
He might have to, he might have to call Canada. Hey, can I move up there?
They'd be like, no, sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. Well, he can live in Scarborough. Scarborough's 99% white, so he could probably be okay in Scarborough, but he sure is not going to move to Detroit. So that's the realities. That's just the realities of it. We're under a microscope. So domestic violence is one of those things that sucks because sometimes you just get the wife that's pissed off. She either caught the husband cheating or he caught her cheating or he wants to divorce her and she doesn't. So she bangs her own head on the table and then calls it, he hit me. And he's standing there going, I didn't fucking lay a hand on you. And you have no choice but to arrest him. None. And it sucks. You're like, she's lying.
Usually stuff happens like that. Like in my experience, the husband's going to be waiting outside. They will voluntarily wait outside with the phone, and they also call 911 and either a recording, a video, or both.
Yeah,
they just sit right there and wait for
Smart men. That's now, are we going to detain him? Yeah, based on what was said.
Yeah,
but then we're going to come out and talk to them. Hey, what happened? And if they're calm, like, hey, dude, I didn't lay a hand on her. I told her I wanted a divorce. She doesn't. She said, hey, if you try to leave me, I'm going to bang my head off this table and call the cops. I immediately started recording. I didn't touch her, and I waited out here for you. There may be some credibility there, like, okay. So
the times where I've had it happen, it's like,
I'm going to give you one. This has been adjudicated and it's done. This happened years ago. It was like 8-9 years ago. I got a call for domestic violence. I get there. Husband's outside. He's active duty military. So he cannot get a family violence arrest or his military career under the Lautenberg Act is over. He can't carry a firearm, can't be in the military. Like, I have a nice career. And the call from the wife had been that he beat the hell out of her. So I immediately detained him. He was calm. He was very chill. He's like, I understand, sir. I'm not fighting you. He said, I'm just telling you it didn't happen. Okay. He's calm. He's not being defensive. Maybe, but I got to investigate. So, okay. All right. You understand what it is, right? Yeah. Okay. Cuffed him, put him in the Tahoe, went and talked to her. Oh yeah, he hit me. And she had a pretty good little mouse building here. And I was like, how'd that happen? He punched me. Well, I'm sorry. It was on this side. Okay. I'm going to come back to that because that's important. It was on this side. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
When you're facing somebody, what is the arm what is the hand you usually hit somebody with? Your dominant hand.
Dominant hand, yeah.
That's your just first reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is to hit with the dominant hand. Now, that's not 100%, but it's a factor. It's just a fact. You just put it down. It's a fact. Suspect is right-handed. Shine him on the left eye. Doesn't mean he didn't do it, but it's a fact, and you do write it down because we write down facts.
Mm-hmm.
We write down facts and clues, not guesses.
Yep.
So, she told me the whole story. Yeah, he hit me. I want to press charges, blah, blah, blah. I was like, damn it. He's Air Force. Fuck, this is going to ruin his career. Because I have my doubts, but I still got to do what I got to do. But man, I hope he really didn't. I got to do what I got to do. Okay, man, do you want an EPO? Do you want a Vine? Oh, yeah, I want all that. But her reactions were not matching the situation. I'm looking at her like, your emotions are not matching the situation. You don't act battered. Not saying this ain't the first time. This is the very first time it may have happened, and she just didn't know how to act. But the little voices in my head were telling me this story is not correct, but I have no choice. And it sucked. I'm looking around for cameras. Like, please be a camera in this living room somewhere. Like, where did it happen? Oh, right here. I'm like, well, it could be a camera. No camera. I'm like, yeah, I got to do what I got to do. I'm sorry it sucks. And I hate to do it because I'm retired Air Force. I don't want to arrest another airman, but hey, man, it is what it is. Just like cops. I've arrested 2 for DV. It is what it is. You made the choice. I didn't, Yeah. And if the case gets dismissed, I did my job. But I'm not going to leave you there. Oh, he's a brother cop. Nah, I'm sorry. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
So I went out and told him, hey, man, I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to take you in for DV. And he goes, I'm a pararescueman with the top secret. So he's special forces, and he has the top secret clearance. Broke my heart, but what can I do?
Yeah,
I'm left with no latitude on this one. Like I have an immediate injury. Yeah, sorry. And I'm like, I felt horrible, but I go back in the house. She didn't hear me come in the house because usually you knock. For some reason, I just opened the door, came in, and she's on the phone with the Sancho. Yeah, and she's telling him, yeah, I hit myself on the counter, and as soon as he's gone, I'll be heading over to your place. I was like, oh, you're going to jail. And that's exactly where she ended. So I let her talk, and I'm like, we didn't have body cameras back then. I'm like, fuck, why don't we have body cameras? Because I just caught your ass. And she's like, and her whole attitude changed. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see you. I miss you too. He'll be gone. He'll be in jail at least over the night. And I'm just like, this bitch. Fuck that. She's going to jail right now for filing a false report. Right now. So I said, oh, sure. Oh, yes. Sorry, sir. I said, turn your ass around. Put your hands behind your back. Oh, wait, what? You can't arrest me. Oh, yes, I can. And I am. Turn your fucking ass around right now. And I ain't going to tell you a third time. Psst, hooked her. You're under arrest for filing a false report. I said, that's illegal what you just did. I said, you almost fucked his career because you're pissed off? Nah, you're going to jail. There was another deputy there. I said, take her, put her in your car. I'm going to pop him out. He put her in her car. I popped him out. You're free to go, sir. And I told him what she said. It is what happened. Because it's going to go in my report anyway.
Yeah.
So he's going to see it anyway. So I'm not going to hide it. But hey, she was talking to Sancho. Is what she said. She admitted that she did it to herself. I'm not arresting you. You're not going to jail. But the first thing to do is you need to notify your first sergeant this happened. And I suggest you move on to base and you stay on fucking base till you're divorced. Don't come back to this house without your first sergeant or your commander with you.
Nope.
Don't come back to this fucking house alone. And if you do, you better have I told him you better have your phone like this the whole time running.
Mm-hmm.
Protect yourself. I said, record all your calls, keep all your text messages. In fact, if I were you, keep it all by text. Do not do anything by voice. Do it by text. And so, yeah, I hooked her. And she bitched and pissed and moaned. You can't do this. I'm the victim. No, you're not. You're not a victim of anything of your own stupidity. No, you're under arrest you can't do that. You almost fucked his career. Why? Because he caught you cheating? So there's other things you could have done, but you're going to fuck him royally like that? Oh, I was beyond pissed off. And the ADA actually was like, wow, I don't get these too often. I said, yeah, because we don't file them too damn often.
Yeah.
But they took it. They signed it. And they hooked her and they went in and I ended up doing a follow up. I think a couple days later, I drove by. He was in the yard. I'm like, oh, really, dude? I said, why are you here? He goes, she's at her mom's, and I'm getting my stuff out. I said, did you move on base? He goes, yeah, I got granted emergency base housing, and I'm being allowed to move in, and she's being barred from base. Her card's being shut off, so she can't get on base. And I was like, don't do anything with her other than text. Don't do anything that's not recorded or ain't by text, brother, because she's going to do this again. I said, she'll probably start making her shit up. I said, the good news is she got caught lying this time. Yeah. So you have some protection, but you know how it goes in the military. One false accusation. So, but that was the end of it. I don't know whatever happened with that one. I don't even know what happened to her case. I have no clue. I mean, this was 8 years ago, so I assume it's been adjudicated somehow by now.
Well, it's a misdemeanor.
Because it's a misdemeanor, so yeah, 2-year lock, and that's it. It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
But the point was, I got lucky. I went in the house, and I just happened to catch her talking. Mm-hmm. And I always question some DV arrests, where I've had them, where they're just too calm. They're not showing those emotional signs of emotional distress. I'm not saying that they're not a victim. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Everybody handles stress differently.
Right.
But there should be some kind of emotional reaction to your husband just having walloped the hell out of you. There should be some kind, unless it's happened so common that you're just blasé about it. I mean, it's just, you have to look at the whole totality of the circumstances. Yep. That is the one phrase that can save your ass in every report you write. What is the totality? What were you told? What did you see? What did you hear? Yep. All that can save your ass and save your career. You do get vindictive people that just call and lie.
Yes.
Happens all the time.
Yes.
And if you don't have enough to say they didn't do it, you have to err on the side of caution and remove the person to keep violence from occurring. And it sucks when you're going, man, I don't think this dude hit nobody.
I had one, in this case is dismissed, but I'm still not going to get into too many particulars. Had one where, it could have been unlawful restraint, an assault, make the arrest or whatever, everything. It was the victim was a woman, so everything appears to be, on the up and up. And a week later, the case is dismissed, like non-prosecution for an uncooperative victim. And then I see him and her at the same place together,
holding hands. Yeah,
because she was angry.
Yep.
And this is like the stuff that kind of muddies it for the actual victims.
Yes, it does.
When you do respond to, because every officer may react to that same thing, like, oh man, well I just. I put in the time, effort into the report, and look at what the outcome was. So when you keep that mindset going into another call, you're thinking in the back of the mind, is this person lying to me? It's always a good job to just reboot, reboot and erase.
Every situation is different.
Yep.
Every dynamic is different. Every call is different. And you have to take each call on its face value with the facts you have before you. The facts drive your investigation.
Not previous calls, previous outcomes with different
even
people.
If it's previous calls, that address.
Yeah.
Each different. Incident stands on its own, the merits of its own case. So, yes, is it a factor what happens in the previous and the past? Yes. What happened today? Look for those injuries. Look for the knuckles. Look for defensive wounds. Look for all that crap. Look for cameras in the house. These days, people have cameras in the house.
Yeah.
You make sure the detective knows that. If it's a Ring camera or a Waze or whatever the hell they're called, a Blink, we can get subpoenas and get that footage. We can get a search warrant and get the footage from inside the house and see the entire thing. They can't erase it off Ring. They can't erase Blink. They can't. It's stored for 60 days on their servers. So for those that don't know, Ring saves the footage for 60 days. And after that, it will erase.
Yeah.
So you have 60 days to get a search warrant, send it off to Blink or Ring or Wise, or you got 20,000 different ones now, and they'll send you that footage and you'll see what really happened.
Yeah.
Audio and all.
Yeah.
And those have become a great resource for us. I don't know how many warrants I've written for Ring and Blink and all that crap. And Ring is through Amazon. They're a pain in the ass, but they will do it. And they'll send you the footage and you'll watch it and go, oh shit, he didn't lay a hand on her. Or yeah, oh shit, he knocked the shit out of her. Oh yeah, no, that's called evidence,
Yeah.
So here's what people don't realize. Remember when I said there's 3 crimes we press the charge no matter what? Murder, child crimes, and domestic violence. If you talk to, like here in the district attorney's office here, I talked to the chief of the violent crime division who handles the domestic violence portion. What she told me was that our prosecutions don't do shit with the victim. Has everything to do with how the officer wrote his report. Everything to do with that. If you write a very thorough, like my skin was tearing, that kind of detail, we'll take the case anyway. And we will prosecute regardless of the wife's or husband's wishes. Do not care. We will handle it. But you write a half-ass case and they don't want to prosecute, we're going to have to drop it. We just don't have enough. So be thorough. So the point of that was be thorough. When he was pulling your hair, what did you feel? My skin was tearing. Great statement.
Yeah.
When he punched you in the side, it burned. It felt like a kidney had broken, like I was feeling sharp pain. Yeah, write that shit down. He hit you in the eye. What'd you feel? I saw stars. I was woozy. I couldn't keep my balance. I fell down. Well, everyone here has been hit in the face at one point or another in life, or hit their head. You see stars. You're woozy. It hurts. But the jury wants details. How did it hurt? When he was sexually assaulting you, it felt like I was tearing. Now, I'm not going to get really in depth into that, but you do have to ask those questions. And it sucks because you got a victim in front of you, and you have to ask these questions, and it sucks.
Yep.
But you have to have the details. You can't just say, you can't put in your report, victim stated, suspect put penis inside her vagina against her will. That's a summary at the top. That's it. The story is the details.
Yeah.
You have to ask the detail, and they're uncomfortable to ask a victim these questions. It is so uncomfortable because we want to kind of protect their privacy. They're very, very, very vulnerable right now. There was the victim of a crime, and now we got to come in and ask, did he finish inside you? You have to ask these questions because we got to do a SANE exam. So yeah, it felt like he ripped me and then he finished inside me. Great statement, because when you do the SANE, the nurse will put down evidence of tearing, semen fluid or semen present. Is it uncomfortable to ask that of a victim? Yeah. Yes, of course it is. But those details can mean a conviction, or lack of details can mean a dismissal.
Yeah.
And you do not want that to be one of your family members and have a cop be as blasé as that, and it's your wife, it's your sister, it's your cousin, it's your daughter. You be fucking livid. Mm-hmm. But we seem to forget that, and we don't treat victims the same way we want our family to be treated.
Yeah.
So you have to remember that. Now, do not forensically interview a fucking child. Do not do that.
I'm just asking.
You're not a forensic interviewer. You're not trained. You're not certified. Don't fucking do it. You do not sit a 13-year-old sexual assault victim down and go, tell me what happened. No, no, no. Get the basics that a offense was committed and stop. Do not ask graphic detailed questions of a child. Let me do not. Oh my God. You will, one, have a very pissed off SVU detective, probably have a very pissed off forensic interviewer, and you're going to have a real pissed off SVU sergeant. So
your regular sergeant.
Yeah, your sergeant and the SVU sergeant, probably the captain. I mean, they're all going to be pissed because that's not your job. If a child tells you he put his pee-pee inside me, it hurt, that's all you got to hear. That's it. Stop everything. Don't ask another question. Call the SVU and go, that's what they just told me. And they will handle it from there because they have protocols. So when they are adults, yes, you ask these questions. When they're children, no, do not ask follow-on questions. Establish an offense and stop. And let the detectives handle it. Trust me, you'll save the case, you'll save your pride, and you won't get your ass chewed to little bitty tiny pieces. They won't fire you for that, but you ain't gonna do it twice.
Oh, that's for damn sure.
You're not gonna do that twice. Next time you're gonna be like, what happened? Sergeant. Okay, stop. Sarge, this is what I got. Remember that every dynamic is different. And then you do have to factor in cultural differences.
Yeah.
I had another one. She was active duty military, white. She married an Iraqi. When she was stationed in the Green Zone, she met him. They came back here. She was still active duty captain now by this point in the Air Force. He knocked the hell out of her. Okay, when I arrested him that night, he came back. Dumbass came back. She called he was back, and I hooked him. He was like, "No, don't. We're a Muslim. You don't have to worry about that." Oh, I don't. He's like, "We follow Sharia law. Inside your house, you might, but not in the state of Texas. You're going to jail." And he just flabbergasted that I was not. He was threatening to sue me because I'm violating his rights because that's his religion. I'm like, shut the fuck up back there before I break check you into this waffle cage. Shut up. But you do have to take into account cultural differences. There are cultures where that's not only okay, it's encouraged.
Yeah. Is
it okay under state law? No. So it doesn't fucking matter where they're from. But you do have to factor that in when you're looking at this Jack Wayne going, okay, yeah, in his mind, it is okay. Nothing you say is going to change his mind. Nothing you say is going to change his mind. He's going to be like, it's in one ear and out the other. And you're just going to be like, all right, dude, well, you're still under arrest, so I'm going to let you and a lawyer talk about this, and you two can figure that shit out. Like, okay, whatever. Nothing I can do about it.
Nothing you can do.
So I was like, well, I'm going to do my job, remove the violence, and take them in, and okay, good luck, and I wish you the best, dickhead.
Yeah.
Not my problem. So you got cultural differences. You have socioeconomic differences.
Yeah. Play a factor.
That plays a factor. I will tell you right now, domestic violence happens in every neighborhood, rich to poor.
Yeah.
You're just not going to get it in the rich area too damn much. And I will tell you why. And this is the sad truth. And it is a fact. And it sucks because I was like, why the hell didn't she call? Well, if your husband's a millionaire and you have a 5,000 square foot house, that's a $5 million mansion. You drive a fucking Land Rover or a
G-Wagon.
A G-Wagon or whatever. Okay, you're kind of, it's not okay, but you'll tolerate getting smacked in the mouth to not lose that.
Because
now you're going to lose.
The sorry like from the abuser is always the gifts, the lifestyle.
Hey, I bought you new Benz.
Yeah.
Bought you Bentley. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Or, hey, you're going to be on the street. I keep the money because I made the money.
That whole you'll be nothing without
Yeah,
me.
you'll be nothing without me. And so they're oh shit, if I leave him, so I better not call. So does it happen in the rich neighborhoods? Just as fucking much as the poor neighborhoods.
It's more concealed.
It's just far more concealed. One, socioeconomic reasons. If you're high society, you definitely don't want your spouse to end up on the fucking news because then they recognize the house and know you. Hey, she got beat up by him. Now you're not being invited to all the tea parties. You're not getting the chisme.
Yeah.
So you got certain areas in this town that are really rich areas. And I know the cops in that area are like, yeah, we don't get too many domestic calls. But it happens. They just don't get called. The neighbors might call, but by the time you get there, oh, no, we're just chilling. No, we're good. Have a good day. And you know damn well there was more to it, but you don't have proof, and both of them are saying it didn't happen. You can't do shit with that. It is what it is. So there are certain things that cross all socioeconomic barriers. Domestic violence, DWIs, these are certain crimes that just cross every barrier there is. Black, white, Asian, tall, old, thin, fat, short, it don't matter. Mm-hmm. So don't ever look at a situation and go, well, they're rich, so they must be happy. Well, probably not. But one of them is the money maker, and the other one don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
And that could be the wife is the money maker, and the husband don't want to lose it. So she's threatening him. It could be. It can be. Just because he's rich doesn't mean he's not a victim.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean she's not smacking the shit out of him, but he doesn't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
He doesn't want his friends to find out about it because it is shameful for a man. When I say shameful, it's not. You're a victim. It is what it is. But to men who don't understand it, like, really, dude, you let a woman who's 4'10" hit you in the mouth? Like, you're 6 foot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I'm not going to smack her back.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens, and we know this truth as cops. That woman could be knocking the shit out of you left, right, and center, and you just smack her once. And that's when she picks up the phone.
Yeah.
And when they get there, you don't have a single mark. And she's got a big red handprint in her face. Guess who's going to jail?
Yeah, you. The man.
Yeah. So his only option is to sit on his hands and allow it. And that sucks, but it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, shit. So what I'm going to tell you, listeners, this shit does get better. It doesn't stop with those rare exceptions like he quit drinking, sobered up, or he quit using, he's sobered up. Rare exception. Most times, it does not end. It does not stop. It does not get better. It gets worse.
Right.
Because it's the circle of violence. And every time, he's going to go a little further and a little further and a little further until finally you die. And that is the sad fact. I don't know how many wives I've stood over, or husbands, where it started with, you look at the priors, called domestic, and finally, homicide.
Yeah.
And great. So, and sometimes they don't stop at the wife. Sometimes they take out the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, women or men, if you're in that situation, I'm sorry to be the one. I know you love him or her. I get it. Emotionally don't want to let them go. But you got to understand this shit's not going to stop. And if you have kids, you got to factor that in too. And I'm tired of seeing victims that... I'm not saying I'm tired of victims. That's not what I'm saying. I'm tired of victims feeling like they have no way out.
There is I will say this. Anybody who is looking for resources, reach out to your local district attorney's office. There's a general number you can call.
Yeah.
And tell them the topic that you're calling for. They have resources to where law enforcement may not even need to be involved, but they can still help you.
But they can help you.
Now, even if you just want to report something to law enforcement, us, to where you're trying to even recall a past event, at least there's something on paper, but you don't even need that now. Mm-hmm. You can get the resources without it.
Yeah, so every DA's office pretty much gets funding specifically set aside for victims' assistance. And that's probably the only office that always has money left over.
Yeah.
because no one ever calls.
Yeah.
We have a victim advocate in our agency, and we'll probably give out her card 300 times in a month, 400 times in a month. She'll get 10 calls.
Yeah.
And she has money that is set aside by this agency, millions. Here you go.
Especially by the state, too.
Yeah,
Statutorily.
and the state. And,
Yeah.
and then you have Victims of Crime Compensation Act, and you have all this stuff that she can help you with the paperwork. She can help you get it filed, who to talk to the DA's office, who to talk to at the state, and no one ever calls. And she'll ask me, hey, did they give the card out? Yeah, they did. It was on camera. They told her to call you. Maybe you should reach out to her, see what she says.
Yeah.
You know, and, never mind, we're good. Let's talk about the Victims of Crime Compensation Act, because no one knows about that. Like, no one knows about the Victims of Crime Compensation Act. That is state funded. It is paid for by the state. If you were a victim of crime, there's some caveats to it. Like, we'll take care of your medical bills.
Mm-hmm.
State will pay them. But there's some caveats to this. You have to be a willing complainant. You have to go through the entire trial process, and then we will pay your medical bills. And we will pay the bills direct to the medical provider. We're not going to hand you a check.
Yeah.
We're going to pay them. The state will pay direct. But let's say that your wife is killed by a drunk driver. Okay? She's the victim of a crime. The state will help pay for funeral expenses.
Yeah.
But you had to be willing to go through the entire process with the district attorney's office to do that. That's the deal. We'll pay the bills, but you need to go through, it's called you need to go through with the prosecution. You have to. But once you do that, we got you. We'll take care of it. And that's usually the only thing that gets people to actually do it sometimes, is to pay the medical bills. Because those get really expensive after a while.
Yeah.
So we have what's called VCCA, Victims of Crime Compensation Act. But you have to be a victim of a crime, you have to be willing to prosecute, and you have to be willing to go through the whole process. And then we'll take care of it. The state will pay it. $30,000 in medical bills ain't nothing to the state of Texas. I mean, our annual revenue is more than some countries. So we ain't worried about it. We'll pay it because we'd rather prosecute the individual for having done it and then help you out than just sit in our hands and go, well, we'd love to help you, but you won't call us. Because they're not going to call you. You need to call them.
Yeah.
The patrolman will give you this information. And what you do with it is your call. Like, oh, we tried. We gave her. And the officers, document in your report that you gave them this information.
Yeah.
Because if they come back, I never got told anything like that. And you're like, yeah, I did. It's on your report. You might be an agency that doesn't have cameras, which I don't think anybody, I think everybody has cameras now. But when I was coming up in patrol, there was no cameras. You better document. I gave the victim advocate information to the victim. I also gave her the fine. I gave her the EPO. I gave her this. I gave her that. Absolutely. Cover your ass. That way later they can't say, I didn't get that. Yes, you did. I handed you the card. Remember that card I gave you? The victim advocate?
Yep.
So document that you did this. Document that you tell them their options. Don't rush. Tell them their options. Answer their questions. If this was your mom, your sister, your daughter, wouldn't you want them to be told this information instead of going, you'll figure it out. Just call her and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I tell rookies all the time, explain it. And explain it at a third grade level. They're not stupid, but they got a lot going on right now, and they're not registering what you're saying. So
There needs to be some simplicity. Yeah.
keep it simple. Don't be complex. And that's hard for us. We want to get complex and get in the details instead of simply, she's here to help you. She can help you with resources. You need counseling. You need a hotel, a safe place to stay. She can help you. Don't get into the weeds because they're just in one ear and right out the fucking other.
Yeah.
So I know this isn't a fun topic. It's not a funny one. Have I had funny domestics? Yes, I have.
When nothing happens and it's a ridiculous argument.
Oh, you get ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get stupid shit. I mean, the stuff couples argue about when they tell you what they're arguing about, there's a much deeper problem. You're like, that's not what you're arguing about. Which one of you fucked up? you know it. Like, okay, which
remember
one?
on Southland where it's Cooper, right?
Yeah, Cooper.
Cooper like makes the couple get a divorce.
Yeah, put both your hands on my badge. The power investment out of the state of California. I divorce you. I announce you divorce. Yeah. Oh, if we could do that, that would be so good. You know where they got that scene from was a book written by, he's an LAPD officer named William Dunn. He wrote a book called Boot. It's about his 12 months as a trainee and rookie in LAPD. And that was they got that out of that book because a sergeant of his did that on a scene. And he saw it start doing it. He's like, you can do that? He goes, no. But they don't know that. And he goes, but he said, we never got called to that house again. That was the last domestic we ever got called to. They were divorced and still living together, but they were divorced. And now they're happier. He goes, the weirdest shit, but it worked. You have to think on your feet in this job.
Yeah.
Now, can we do that now with cameras? I wouldn't recommend it because then he told me we're divorced by the power vested in by the state of Texas.
Your sergeant would be like,
Yeah, your sergeant would be like, what? You did, huh? I saw it on Southland.
yeah.
He's going to be like, no more TV for you.
Oh, yeah.
But you do have to think on your feet in this job, and you got to think quick, and you got to come up with shit fast. And the gift of gab, and the gift of bullshit, and you can make anything sound good. You say it with confidence. With confidence, you can make anything sound good. It's bullshit, but it's good bullshit.
Yeah.
You're like, whoo, got with that one. You know, like talking to people in handcuffs that you know are going to fight, and you manage to talk to them with bullshit in handcuffs, and by then it's too late. It's like, oh, and you're like, oh man, you good? You know, like holy shit, that'd have been a fight. So would you rather fight the 800-pound asshole, or would you rather get him in handcuffs to sweet talk? Yeah, just throw him in the Tahoe and call it a day. And then if he's kicking the doors, just leg iron him and call it a fucking day. Kicking the doors, hog tie him and throw him in the Tahoe, okay? Or call the transport van. Do whatever you got to do.
Yep.
But the gift of gab will save you. But that's the genius. They put both by the power vested by the state of California. You're divorced. You know. Oh shit, thanks, and never got called there again. So yeah, he got that out of a book called Boot, and it's a great book. So I'm going to recommend some books to our listeners.
Yeah.
Vice.
Yeah, I read that. That's good.
I recommended that one to you.
Yeah.
That was a Compton officer. Boy, that's an eye opener. That was a different time back then. The
A lot of
Compton
stuff they did in that way would never
No,
be
you
allowed
can never
today.
fly now, but back then that's just how it was.
Yeah.
Boot is a fantastic book for anyone interested in LAPD. Read Boot by William Dunn. It's a great read. Gang history. He actually goes thoroughly through gang history and how the gangs actually started, and where they actually started from, how the Bloods and Crips started, all that. He's very in depth because that's what he is now. He might be retired by now because I think he went through FTO in like '92 or something. He might be retired now, but he's a gang cop in the gang Crash. There's so many good books. The Gold Badge, that's by a New York detective. Great book. So some of these books, they have lessons in them, and that's why you read them. They have lessons. What worked? What didn't work? What he said that worked. Obviously, stay within your agency's policy. Don't lie to people. And remember you're on camera. And even if you have your own camera, they're still filming you with theirs.
Yeah.
And there's a selective editing at best versus yours, which is just the linear footage. This one is turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. And they put a cool little Instagram video. And next thing you know, your internal affairs going, well, did you watch my video? Well, yeah, but they complained, so we're going to give you a day. What? And that happens. For those that don't realize that happens.
Yeah.
So learn how to protect you because ain't no one else going to cover your ass but you. Your best friend, your partner will fucking back off real quick if he thinks he's going to burn with you. And you'll be the only one in the funeral pyre getting burned at the stake like a witch. So just remember that. If you do your job, you'll never go wrong.
Yeah. True.
If you do your job ethically, morally, within policy and the law, you'll never go wrong. You'll never be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you going to make mistakes? Yes, because you're human, and that's what humans do. You learn from the little mistakes, hopefully avoid the big mistakes, learn from your betters, and then you can end your career at 20 or 30 and going, I was ethical, I was moral. I can look myself in the eye and go, I made good, ethical, moral decisions.
Yep.
I can live with myself. The trick is to be able to look in the mirror and not have it shatter after 30 years.
Yeah.
And go, I never lied, I never cheated, I never stole.
Mm-hmm.
I may be a little heavy-handed at times. Sometimes the situation calls for that, and probably shouldn't have gone that far. But hey, it was a bar fight, the guy's drunk, and we're really rolling on the ground. Don't feel great about it, but, versus we don't lie, like the military academies, we don't lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do.
Yeah.
Well, that applies in law enforcement too. Not just the Naval Academy, Army Academy, the Air Force Academy. That applies in law enforcement too. We don't lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. That's why we arrest them. So if you start doing it, you've lost all moral ground to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why these officers that get in trouble and you see them on the news, you're like, that motherfucker, really? And you're hoping it's bullshit. Like, please be bullshit. And then it turns out, no, it really did happen. And here's all the proof. You're like, this motherfucker. So don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Make good moral decisions. You never have to worry about it. No one's ever going to call you. You're never going to get called into PIE. You're never going to call internal affairs. You might get called into internal affairs, but write good reports and do your job. And they'll be like, oh, you're good.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I've been called by AA. You're good. It was a complainant. We watched your video footage. You're good. Don't worry about it. Half the time they don't even call you. They just handle it, and you never even find out about it until one of them just happens to run to you. Oh, yeah, I got a complaint about you. Oh, am I getting 3 pieces of paper? Nah, we watched her footage and she was full of shit. She just didn't like getting a ticket. Okay, cool. And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So, what people don't realize about internal affairs, and I know we discussed this internal affairs episode, is just because you call it A doesn't mean a goddamn thing. They probably get 10,000 calls a week, and maybe 5 actually have actual merit. The other 9,995 were just, you're pissed off he's got a ticket, or you got arrested, didn't like it. Okay, well, no one likes getting arrested, so how about stop getting arrested? And then don't make bullshit up because you're mad he arrested you. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you did something? Give me proof. I don't have proof. Give me something. I need proof. I'm going to come after him, shit like that.
Right.
So, IA does not scare me. When people tell me, I'm going to complain. You want me to write down their phone number? Hold on, let me get there on Google. Here's the phone number of Internal Affairs. Hold on, here's my name, my badge too. Oh yeah, here's the incident number for this call. Have a nice night. And they're looking at you like, well, that didn't work. No, I don't care. Call them. I don't give a shit. They got a chair reserved for me. They come in, Steve Bone's chair. Cool. Hey guys, lock my gun up, lock my phones up. Cool. What's up, guys? Sarge, how's it going? We good? Okay. Oh, you're good? You don't need me? Oh, I'm out of here. Put my shit back on and leave. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. Be honest. Have integrity. You'll never go wrong.
Yep.
So, I know this is kind of a heavier subject.
Yeah.
But I think it was an important one. And if any of the patrol officers or even detectives are listening, if you got something out of it and it helps you make a better decision, by all means, please let us know, but don't give us details. We don't want to put details. Yeah. Don't put anyone's personal shit on there. Don't give us names. Don't even give us locations. Be general. But we'd like to hear about it. Hey, you told me this and it turned out it was true and it worked. Great. That's a success story. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
We all learn from each other's mistakes and successes. You learn more from the mistakes, but you still learn from other people's successes too. What he did worked. I'm going to try that. Hey, it doesn't work for everybody, but it might work for you. I still think this is one of the world's greatest jobs. And like my dad used to tell me, love your job, don't love your agency.
Yeah.
You don't have to love your agency, but you can still love your job. No matter what badge you wear, if you're a man of honor and integrity, it don't matter what badge you wear. You could be Podunk, middle of nowhere, Texas, or Dallas, or Houston. It doesn't matter. A cop is a cop. Be honest, have integrity, and you can retire with pride that you did a damn good job. You may not have had the call while everyone else did, but did you help somebody? Yeah, all you have to do is save one life. Just save one.
Yep.
And I've saved I don't know how many lives that I don't even know about. Just because I got involved and I did my job, and I don't know if I saved their life, but I got to assume I've saved at least a life or two that I don't know about.
Yeah.
And I can live with that. I can look in the mirror and go, I did my job, and I'm not ashamed of anything I fucking did in this job. I'm not ashamed of a single thing I did. But good writing will save you a lot of fucking headache.
Definitely
A good writing.
Yeah.
The more you sweat or write in that report, the less you will bleed on the stand, or bleed in IA, or bleed in PIU, where they're looking at a criminal charge against you, but that good report saved your ass.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as a useless detail.
Yep.
There is no such thing as a useless detail. That could be the patrolman who writes a homicide or initial homicide offense report, but that little detail he added there that everyone else thought was bullshit, the detective either solved it, like, oh shit, wait, what'd he say? And you just helped him solve a homicide because of a detail that no one else would have thought to even put in their report. But you were like, I'll put that down. He said it.
Yep.
So no such thing as too much detail. There is such a thing as not enough. Came, saw, went. That's not a fucking offense report. Came, saw, bad guy, arrested, same. No. That case won't even get magged, let alone fucking convicted. And there's a victim who didn't get justice.
Yeah.
So now I hate the fucking police. They don't do nothing for you. You call them, they don't do shit. And your sheriff or your chief are looking at that going, really, what happened? And then they call down going, hey, what happened with this one? And they put your report and go, really? And now you got to go talk to the man and explain why you did such a shitty job to a constituent who votes for him.
Yeah.
And ain't going to vote for him again.
Yep.
So if you don't think there's political ramifications in this job, you are fooling yourself. There are absolutely political ramifications in this job. 100%. You are a mini politician, whether you like it or not. By virtue of you wearing that uniform and that badge, you are a mini politician. Mm-hmm. It sucks because no one wants to play politics. Cops especially hate politics. But it's kind of one of those you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Suck it up. You're a cop. Okay? It ain't going to be the worst thing you do that day, so just fucking deal with it. Now, I'm the last one to be talking because I'm a total hypocrite when it comes to this one. I don't play politics, which is why I keep getting my wrist smacked. But hey, I don't play politics, but I've learned when to back off. I'll just back the fuck off on this one.
Yeah.
So that's today's episode. Sorry, guys, it ain't funny. It had its moments, but you learned something. That's all we want. And civilians who are listening, I hope you learned something from it too. Never be afraid. I'm not saying be a snitch on your fucking neighbor, but if he's beating her ass or she's beating his ass, call us. They may not. We can save a life. I know you don't want to feel like a snitch, but you'd feel far worse if you didn't stop it and he killed her or she killed him. Right. So I'm not saying this is 1984 and you got to rat your neighbors out because they were doing a doobie in the backyard, because we really don't give a shit. They're smoking weed in their backyard. We don't give a fuck. But violence, yes, we want to stop it because our goal is to preserve life, number one, protect property, number two. So preserve life. That's why it's number one.
Yep.
So, J-Man, you got anything to add on this subject?
Nope.
I think we talked it out. I don't think I got any more to add. Another good episode, another good one, and like we're gonna keep trying to crank out the content, and still trying to figure out if we're gonna do lives or not. Is this podcast gonna survive or not? We don't know yet, but we're figuring it out one day at a time. So, from J-Man and I here in South Texas, we do appreciate you listening to us, brothers and sisters. Watch your backs. Civilians listening along. Hey, we're always hiring, and we just need smart people. Please don't be a dumbass. We get enough of them to end up on the news. So, from J-Man and I here in South Texas, we wish everybody a good night. You got anything to add?
No, that's it.
And we're out of here.